prepare and we'll go and we'll do our best. We'll put them under pressure. The game is about being effective, being aggressive, winning the ball, getting...
Here, hang on, I've muted myself. Now if I'm muting myself. But hello and welcome to the most unholiest two Irishmen and a lady in Ireland. We're making Mira an honorary Irish lady tonight. She's now part of the gang. We all know she is Mary Magdalene of our podcast world. With Angel Gabriel above her, looking smart, looking happy, and Moses here, still pissed off because the devil broke one of my tablets. I still don't know what the other 5 commandments are. If you're wondering where the devil is, he's busy tonight looking for, I don't know what he's up to tonight. Apparently he said he had other devil business to do, but there you go. But anyway, good evening and welcome to the best show in town. Of course, it is the Unholy Trinity podcast with me, Dermotron, of course, the man himself from Kildare, Mr. David Hotspur Harris, and down below, the mightiest Minnie Mouse you're ever likely to be. She's not known as Minnie Mighty Mouse. She's known as Scrappy Doo. Of course, it's the lovely Mia. Dave, I'm going to start with ladies first. Mia, how are you? And welcome to your debut on the Unholy Trinity podcast.
It is my debut. I also get called Pocket Rocket, don't forget. That's another one of my nicknames, to be fair.
That's true.
Yes. No, I've got many a nickname, to be honest. Many a nickname.
But you're stuck with Mary Magdalene tonight. That's
fine. I'm named after Mary, so it's all good.
Fag in one hand and a bottle of scotch in the other.
A bottle of gin. Actually, Malibu. I like Malibu. Bottle of Malibu.
Saying, get out of my pub.
Yeah, I don't know why people say I sound like her, because I don't.
And of course, Dave, how are you, sir? Great to see you back again. Not having you one day, but how are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm all right, lad. I'm a bit tired today. I was out hiking earlier on with the owl lad and we got lost. So, it was an extra 2 hours there that didn't need to happen. So I'm absolutely bollocks.
Hang on. Who got lost? You or the old fella?
Oh, the owl lad. I just followed his trail, lad.
When did you realise you were lost, by the way? When did they tell you? Hang on. This doesn't look right.
when we ended up on close to a road we shouldn't be anywhere near.
Oh, God love you. Well, you made it home safely. And Mr. Harris,
Eventually.
Good evening. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're looking forward to Tottenham on Saturday. I'm sure you are. Only one person in the chat. This isn't good enough. If you don't, more people getting in the chat. I'm sending the devil around to see you tomorrow. It's Stephen Cartwright. Big up. He says, good evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. Looking forward to getting back to normal football. Yeah, I think we all are. Me, I want to start with you. International break. Do you like it or do you hate it?
Hate it. It's like I worry about our players getting injured and England just playing rubbish football, so it's not fun to even watch.
No, it is great to get back to football, isn't it, Dave? It's great. Look, you and me and Mia, we're all getting ready for the Luton game Saturday, putting together our previews and everything. It is exciting, isn't it? It's like the running. This is it now. This is the run into the end of the season. It's getting squeaky bum time.
Look, it's do or die, you know. At the end of the day, I think we should come out of this season with some sort of European football. But, you know, Ange's constantly trying to bat away the narrative of top four. So what we don't want is to miss outside Champions League football this season and then have that narrative painted around Tottenham again. Are you trying to get top four? What we need to do is finish qualifying the Champions League positions. So then next season, all the talk is about hunting down the three sort of teams ahead of us. So for me, I think, consistency is key in this 10-game run. If you can't win every game, you do not lose. You pick up points. But consistency is key, you know. You might get away with the Fulham one. Under Conte, we had a couple of draws in there against Brighton and Brentford. That shouldn't have happened. Thought it would derail us. But when you look back at that run, we didn't lose games. We were putting points on the board. So consistency is key over these next 10 games.
It is. And guys, I don't know what you think about it. A lot of players have come back international, sort of didn't play on Wednesday. I know, I think Destiny didn't play for Italy. Vicario didn't make his debut. Madison, I don't think he played Wednesday. Did he, Mira? Did he play on Wednesday?
Yeah, because he got an assist, didn't he, for Jude Bellingham?
Okay, so he's come back fit. We seem to be quite lucky this time round. Papa Sarr didn't play as well.
Don't say it, because they're going to announce saying touch wood. Don't say it.
Yeah. Just very quickly, guys. I got word this morning about Højbjerg and about the noise around what he's been saying during the week about him being unhappy and everything. I've been told to take that with a pinch of salt. Where are you on that, guy? Where are you thinking on the Højbjerg thing? I know, Mia, your reaction to Højbjerg. Get him out of the club. It's useless. He's no good. Am I wrong or am I right?
I mean, it's not what we need for the team and the style of football that we play. In a more defensive team, he's perfectly fine. But for what we need, no, absolutely, he needs to go. What he said is a bit, it is one of those. I think he knows that he wants to leave. We all know he wants to leave. So I'm not really surprised by these comments, but it's a bit of like a pick in the teeth when everybody says how professional he is, how he don't kick up a fuss. And then he comes out and says these kind of mysterious comments.
Yeah, well, Dave, do you blame him? Do you blame him for saying this? Or do you think that's the culture of football players now these days? It's just, it is what it is.
Look, first of all, I do think it was the right decision to keep him around this season, you know, and we couldn't get everything done one window. But at the end of this season, I think time is to move on. You know, I think when Postecoglou started playing skip just before the January transfer window, it sort of said to me that he's on his way out of the club. Didn't move, obviously didn't materialise. And then, you know, he changed his agency to an agency out in Italy as well. You presume that's probably more or less where he's going to head for his next destination. But look, it has come to the point where, you know, Postecoglou had an interview about a month ago, and he said that, you know, how much change that still needs to happen to the squad and stuff like that. And one thing he mentioned in it is maybe the robustness of each player in that squad. And that's where Højbjerg falls down for me. I think he just doesn't have the robustness to get around the likes of a Basuma, you know, even Bentancur when he's in there, Papa Sarr. So that's why I don't think he fits Ange's system in that regard. So come this summer, I do think it's time to move on. But look, in terms of his quotes, look, he sort of said, you know, everyone knows around the club that he hasn't been happy and stuff, but he hasn't made a fuss about it either. And I think the reason why he's probably chose now to come out is to maybe try and garner some interest in him, you know, over the summer and stuff like that. But look, I think he hasn't done his chances of starting any of these games over the last 10 games any good whatsoever. No. You know, he sort of, in a way, he's put the pressure back on Ange by saying, you know, I don't know why I'm starting. You may go and speak to Ange, but I don't believe that, because he would have gone to Ange a long time ago and said, look, why am I playing? I'm not happy. You know, and Ange would have given him the reason. So he knows why he's not playing to that regard. But look, you know, it's sad that it's ending this way. You know, because he has been a good servant to Tottenham. You know, there was a 3-4 year period there where he played nearly every single game and stuff like that. But look, he's clearly not happy, and I don't think, you know, judging by Andrew's team selection this season, he doesn't want him here heading into next season. There's a few other players like that, the likes of Davies, Lascelles, people like that. But look, you know, sometimes you just have to part ways with players that you love in order for to move on as a club. And at some point, we have to give Ange Postecoglou what he wants and not what the club want. You know, if we want to sort of push on, and if Ange wants him gone, then he has to go.
Yeah, I mean, I went through that. Of course, we all went through it, I think, before, like you and me, but I went through that with Glenn Hoddle when he left. I was devastated when he left, and Chrissy Waddle as well. So players do leave, and players we love leave. So it's part of football, isn't it? It's part of the journey. It's part of why we support a club. Big up to Peter Rem as well, the legend. Do you know what, guys? There's a podcast I would love. Philip Brady, Peter Rem, and Wilton McDonald. Could you? And you're a father as well, Dave. Can you imagine the four of them, right, sitting talking about Tottenham through the years? Can you imagine the stories that could come out of that? I would love to. That would be, for me, a brilliant podcast. The stories they four could tell about Tottenham and about the years supporting them. And wow, I would love that. Big up Peter as well, a legend, and always in the chat and always there to help me. So big up Pete as well. We've got, bet by ourselves, Ellie's in the house. We can't be controversial now. Ellie will be clipping us, saying, look what they've been saying. And she's starting you already, Dave. She goes, hello, you lovely people. Højbjerg is robust. Dave, hey, man, what are you saying? I'll be seeing you.
No, look, I like Højbjerg. I think he gets a lot of unfair slack from the fan base personally. But, you know, I'm where we're at is there's no point in keeping half a squad that a manager wants and half the squad that maybe other people want to keep around the club, you know, to maybe try and preserve the longevity of the club. Look how that worked out with the likes of Lloris and Dyer and Sanchez and people like that, you know. Conte, you know, he had half a squad he wanted and half a squad he didn't. You never have a chance. Same as Jose Mourinho. You never have a fair chance then. So, you know, if you want to take that leap of faith, under Jurgen Klopp, you know, Liverpool stuck with him, continued to rotate the squad, give him what he wanted. Same with Guardiola when he came into City and same with Arteta when he came into Arsenal. And if we really want to talk about pushing on and challenging for trophies, you can't have players that are hanging on when they don't suit what the manager wants. Everyone moans about Postecoglou making late subs. The reason why he makes late subs is because he doesn't trust the guys off the bench. It's as simple as that. You know, we can't have that going forward because what you're asking a manager to do is unrealistic then. At some point, you have to give him the squad he wants. And I love his Højbjerg just as much as you, Ellie, but unfortunately, you know, we're going in a different direction. Look, it is what it is. You know, we have to, sometimes you have to let players go that you love, you know?
That's true. And Mia, look, I said to Dave the other day, I've been watching a lot of the All or Nothing documentary. Looking back then when Mourinho came in, the end of Poch. And Mia, I've gone on record saying Poch is a loser. As much as he did well for Tottenham, I think he's a loser. I've got a lot of criticising for saying it, but I stick to my guns on it. I think he is. Till he wins something, for me, he's a serial loser. I don't care what you win in France, because that's just a farmers' league. So I've been watching a lot of that, Mia, and watching. Do you think the team's dynamic has changed since then Mourinho days to now? Or do you agree with Dave there's a lot more to do within the squad?
I think both, actually. I think the dynamic has changed because we have got rid of some of those disruptive maybe players, and we've still got maybe a few more. They're not disruptive so much, but not good enough. But there is still more to do because there's always more to do. In football, you can't stand still. You always have to be moving with the times, moving players on if they become not good enough, if they, you know, you have to continue. It's a continuation because that's what Fergie was very, very good at.
Yeah.
And so you need to be able to do that and refresh your team at the correct time, judge it correctly and refresh correctly. So there's always work to do in a football team, but the actual way that the club, I think, is now is a lot different because there's Players are happy. They want to run through brick walls. And I mean, who wouldn't? Every time he talks, I just love the guy.
Yeah.
So I think that the actual way that we feel about the club, the way the players feel about the team has changed massively since.
It's like Ange is one of us, isn't it? He's like one of the fans. It's like you go down the pub with Ange and have a pint with him and talk football. He's that sort of bloke. Do you know what I mean? It's not like, I don't think you could have done that with Poch or Mourinho or Conte or the Garden Gnome. He's a bit like Keith Birkinshaw, I suppose, in a way, and a bit like Bill Nick. He's rolled into one for me, and I always get 80 vibes. Sorry, Mia, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, you've got to have a Keo beer because that's the Greek beer, and take him for a nice kebab, but a good one. Right,
what we'll do, we'll get through the chat. We're going to talk a little about international football. Mia's also devastated as well because Greece didn't make it, which I was shocked. So I'm going to get Mia's thoughts on that. Dave, we're going to talk a little bit about the Ireland search. Apparently, Roy Keane was interviewed 3 times for the Irish job.
I told you that the other day. There's been Chris Coleman and Sam Allardyce all interviewed.
And then I'm going to ask Mia, can Southgate lead England? I'll get your views on it as well, Dave, what you think as us outsiders looking in. Big up to Ellie, says, North London derby, I'm getting an interview with you and Højbjerg. LOL. Ellie's just laughing around the sitting room. Tio's just looking at it thinking, Ellie, what are you doing? And Ellie says, I'm laughing. So there you go. Big up, Ellie. Keep laughing.
Dermot, the reason, just quickly, the reason why I have the sort of view I do on Højbjerg, right, is everyone loves Ange Postecoglou, right? But there was an interview done a month ago, and it's gone completely under the radar. And his quotes in that interview was, I think we'll look to strengthen in all areas of the park come the end of the season.
Yeah.
That's planning. That's already underway. And there's people already in charge of it at the moment. We've got to work. We've got a lot of work still to do on the squad. And I don't think we're anywhere near where we want to be. You probably will take a little bit more than 3 windows to get there for sure. Just in terms of the robustness, which Højbjerg doesn't match, adaptability and compatibility of the squad, I think there's still a fair bit of change we need to do. And I think that's gone very unnoticed in the Spurs, in sort of the Spurs fan base, especially when we're talking about players, that leaving and stuff like that. When you listen to what Postecoglou's saying, it's easy. You just got to match up the players that don't have that robustness about them. They're first ones out the door this summer, whether we like players or not. We want to, if we love Ange, well, that's what he's telling us, we have to go with it.
Yeah, and I agree with that, and I think Mia agrees with that as well. I think it's something that Mia's been looking for, just that we get the right players in, isn't it, Mia, for the right positions that can do the job. You can't be so
100%.
What's the word, Mia? You can't be not sympathetic, but you can't be sort of loyal to a player because football isn't a loyal business. He's going to go at the end of the day.
No.
So, okay, you have your memories, but I agree with Dave said, and I agree on an awful lot what you've been saying as well, Mia, on that subject. But we'll get through these. We are going to come back to that, so don't worry about that. Philip Brady, the boss is in the house, the devil himself. There we go. He says, is this a kangaroo court for Skippy? I don't know. It can be if you wanted to be, Philip.
He can go too.
Yeah. Mia loves Skippy. She does. She's got pictures of him on his wall and everything. Don't you?
What? Instead of having Romero, that absolutely lovely looking, amazing guy.
Well, hang on. It's only taken Mia. It's only taken you 5 minutes and 33 seconds to get Romero's name in. Well done.
No, it's 19 minutes and 12 seconds, actually.
Sorry, 19 minutes and 12 and 17 seconds.
Well, I've got Ellie sending me pictures. She's like, just to cheer you up today. And she sends me a picture of Cutie. So I'm like, nice. This is what I like.
No wonder she looked happy coming on the stream. Not just because she's coming on the best podcast in town.
Not today that she didn't send it, but the other morning she sent me. She's like, here's a nice picture of Cutie for you. I was like, oh, thanks. Much appreciated.
Saying, that's right, Philip Skippy. Boo him out, Højbjerg to stay. Don't get Dave started on Skippy. We'll be here all night. I'm smashed.
Don't get me started on bloody about Højbjerg staying, because I'll be here all night with that bloody nonsense. Do you know,
I'm still haven't recovered from our debate, by the way. I'm sort of dishevelled by that defeat. But I'm coming
That
back.
you got absolutely trounced in.
I'm coming back for you. There will be a second round on something else. I will be ready. Peter M says we need to be more like Liverpool and refresh the squad all the time. Looking forward all the time. Dave, I go back to this. I can remember back in the day, right? And I feel really old saying that. Back in the 80s. Right. And I think you can vaguely as well, Mia. You and me are not too far off ages.
No. I don't remember. I was born in the beginning of the 80s. So I was still very young in the 80s. Thank you very much.
I'm the old git.
I was still watching Gem and bloody Gummy Bears.
Dave was in the twinkle in his dad's eye at that point. But I can remember Liverpool in the late 70s, early 80s, right? Only refreshing the team every season. 2 players out, 2 players in. And that's what they did for year after year. And they were successful. Is it right to do that? Is Peter M right, guys, that we need to be more like Liverpool and refresh the squad all the time? Is he spot on with that?
Yeah, of course he is.
Sorry. So I'll let you go first, Mia. Don't need Dave. Sorry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They keep the mainstays of their squad, the ones that they trust, like obviously Alisson. They keep Trent, obviously VDV. Like they keep them there and Salah, but they refresh it because you should. And the reason they were so bad last season was because they didn't do enough in their midfield to change to refresh it, and that's where they went horribly wrong. Everyone was saying they need to change that midfield, and he didn't do it, and he waited to this season to do it, or last year to get the players in. But so this summer just gone. But obviously that season they didn't do so well because they didn't refresh. So that was a big mistake on Klopp's part not to do it. So yeah, you've got to be on top of your game, like I say, all the time with football.
Even look at Man City. They refresh all the time. Yeah, Jesus, Shinchenko, people like that out. Calvin Phillips come in, didn't work. He's straight back out the door again. If you want to win things at football, you have to do that. And the reason why you do that is you keep people on their toes. He got rid of Jesus and brought in Alvarez, to keep other people around him on their toes. He could have sat there at Jesus. And what that does, it allows everyone else around him to get comfortable. That's what we were like at Tottenham for years. We let a large part of the core of the squad stay here way outstay their welcome. It became stale, and they had the run of the place, and you got to constantly keep refreshing your squad. You got to constantly keep adding. It's the only way you challenge people and get the best out of people and go on and win things.
I agree with you, Dave. It is, and you have to keep refreshing it every season. You have to, because if you refresh it, that keeps the hunger. You look at Fergie. All the years United were successful, they keep refreshing it. I know they did it with a lot of kids, but Fergie, when he brought the kids in, he got rid of Mark Hughes, Kanchelskis. I think
every year, Dermot, you hear the class of 91 talk about it. He added 1 or 2 signings every single summer to keep people on their toes.
Yeah, it is. I tell you, that's a great documentary, actually, when they bought Salford. I must admit, it's a very good sort of series documentary to watch. I would recommend anyone to watch it. It is very, very good. Makes him see them in a new light. Even David Beckham's involved in that. And it's great, isn't it, that they've stuck together, haven't they, all through the years? The lot of them. And it's good. And I think that's football as well. It's like that, isn't it, guys? You have a group of players that stick together through thick and thin. And I think yeah, go on, Mia, go.
Sorry. No, don't. Sorry, I've been rude.
No, go on. What are you going to say?
I think as well, because they went through a lot of different things together as well, because they were young. I think that's what made them stick together. And like one of the biggest things is, of course, when Bex went through what he went through with the England thing, that they really were tight around him. So that showed you what a close knit group they actually were. So I'm not surprised that they've stayed so close.
And they've got that from the manager as well. And Angie's like Fergie in a way. I think there's a bit of Fergie about him. The way he unites the dressing room, the way he's the boss. You see some of his motion, you see some of the videos before the Australian games. How he's there. You get motivated just watching him. I'm there watching him thinking, like 11 o'clock at night, right, I'm ready to run through another brick wall. But Mrs. Tron says, no, I don't need another holes in my wall. The house is falling down as it is. So she's barred me from watching Ange Postecoglou's sort of pre-match speeches. But do you know that they are good, Dave, aren't they? To be fair.
No, I love them. I love them. You know, I even when you read reports, you know, and stuff that come out on a daily basis, you know, they talk about the players. You know, one thing I love about Postecoglou is his pre-game, you know, speeches and stuff like that, which is good.
Yeah. Big. So we've got big. Peter says, "Oh, Keo is Cypriot.
Yep.
Mythos.
Mythos.
Yeah, is Greek. I love Keo and the hot summer's day. Big up to Peter. Ellie saying, I'm only joking, Dave, pulling your leg. She also says, I told Chris Colan after he said Ange Postecoglou is Australian. No, he's Greek. Give us something apart from the Euro 2024 championships. And then we've got big up to Aaron as well. It says, hi, Dermot, Dave and Mia. Hope you're all doing well. Big up, Aaron. Hope you're doing well. Great to see you in. Right, guys, let's crack on with the show. International football. Been boring sort of week and a bit. Dave, Ireland, we did the watch along against Switzerland, Belgium. More questions than answers, would you say, coming out of that sort of international break, would you say?
Look, I think, you know, over the international break, I think we done well against Belgium, but let's not kid ourselves. You know, a lot of their better players weren't there. You know, you come up against Switzerland. Look, one thing I like what O'Shea did bring back is he's brought a bit of freshness to it. You know, there's a bit more belief in the camp. We're trying in games, right? You know, under Stephen Kenny, we sort of just relinquished that back. When we went forward, it was more about keeping possession than trying stuff. But one thing I do like that O'Shea has brought back is that he is making us, you know, competitive again from set pieces, which for about a decade was our bread and butter.
Yeah.
But I don't know about you guys. I'm just sick of it. I want to get back to where we were on the likes of Mick McCarthy and people like that, where you can play a bit of ball, play through the lines, you know, some tricky wingers and stuff like that. We didn't create anything from open play against Switzerland, and it's not good enough. You know, you look at some of the plays we've got through. Goalkeepers were stocked. Defensively, we're solid enough, right? You know, you go into the midfield. There's midfielders in there. They're pulling out of challenges. They're not competing in the air. When they get the ball, it's just sideways or backways. Like Cullen, I was gonna pull him off the pitch against Switzerland. Every time he got the ball, you know, we're looking to drive forward. All you got to do is get turned, push it out wide. You know, play it forward. And what does he do? Play it backwards, slows everything down, allows them to get right back behind the ball. And I'm sorry, in this day and age, with what we are, we need to hit teams quick and fast. And having someone like him in there is not good enough. You look at Will Smallbone come in beside, you know, he's a good footballer, but pulls out of a lot of challenges. I don't understand why O'Shea waited till 88 minutes to bring on Finn Azaz, who's been that creative midfielder in Middlesbrough team all season long and doing well. Why is he waiting for 88 minutes to bring him on? As soon as he came on, he had an impact. But that midfield is crying out for someone like him to get on the ball and, you know, pick the holes going forward. So for me, look, small bit of progression, but nowhere near what I would like to see. And it's not good enough, and it's something they need to get right. And look, the crowds at the games reflect it. You know, they built that stadium off the back of a good era where they thought that was going to be full every single international game, and it's half empty. You know that yourself. Let's not sugarcoat. We've been up there, you know. One side of the stand where all the season ticket holders are, you know, is full. The rest of the stands are bloody empty, and it's disgraceful. And Ireland football need to pull their finger out the hole.
They do, Dave. And look, I'll give my thoughts on it in a minute. Mia, look, with England and also Greece, Greece losing in their playoff final, charisma, mate, you know, I feel sorry for Greece not being there. Bit of a shock. But I was so glad, like, for who you play, because it's the first time they've ever qualified for a major tournament. And how that would do well for a nation, how we would like in 88 when we qualified for the European Championships, our first major tournament. England, you lost against Brazil. You then drew against Belgium. You got Euro 24 coming up, Mia. Did it leave you more excited or in despair of what you saw the other night?
In despair, like, what are we doing? We've got so many good players, like so many available in that team, and we just play the most boring football. And I understand, right? He got us quite far the first time in a very long time. Like, obviously, I remember when we were in other competitions. But when I was younger and I was watching, I remember watching like Bex, obviously, a lot when I was younger, when Sheringham was in the team. And them times were like exciting. But now it's just not. You just do it because I feel like I want to watch England because obviously it's England in the competitions, like proper competition, not like friendlies. But I don't get excited by it no more, Dermot. It's just boring, man. I'm like, we've got these absolutely fantastic players in Bellingham. We've got Saka, we've got Maddison. Oh, mate, we've just got some absolutely phenomenal players. And I'm just like, what the hell are we doing? Why are we playing the Ange-style football? Just bloody tackle you. What's this defensive nonsense?
It's glorified Kenny ball.
It is. It is glorified. You are right. I mean, look, we look at England right over here, and we only look with jealousy of the riches you've got. You've got two traitors playing.
Half of them could have played for Ireland. Let's not mistake that. Grealish, Maddison, Kane, they all could have played for Ireland. Bellingham's brother can play for Ireland, so maybe Bellingham.
Why would they? Why would they when they can play for England?
Yeah, well, can I just say two traitors are playing for England. One of them captain England. He's the total. That's treason. He's just committed treason.
He's what we need in our midfield now.
He is what we... Now, there's a question...
Cry me a bloody river.
No, I want to ask a serious question on this, right? And it was asked... I actually saw it in Talk Sport. And I just wanted to ask you guys what you thought of it. I asked Mr. Brady tomorrow. If you've played for a national side, if you get one cap for your national side, should you be able to move to another national team?
See, the rules are clear around that, though, Darmo. You know, you can play as many friendlies as you want for another country if you've got dual nationality. But if it's a qualifier or anything like that, that's classified as a cap. So, Declan Rice, he used Ireland to get his call up to England. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and complain about it because Ireland have benefited from the granny rule for, decades. Even the Jack Charlton era and stuff like that, where you've got, players that were playing that had either parents or grandparents born in Ireland, but they weren't actually. So I'm not going to sit here and complain about it. The rules are clear.
Technically,
but look, for me, I think they should just simplify it. You're born in that country, you play for that country. It's that simple.
But is it that simple, though, Dave? Sorry. If you've got both parents from another country, just because you're born here, then that doesn't... Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing, isn't it? Because it's a bit like, okay, say in the UK, if both my parents were Cypriot, which one of them obviously isn't, if both of my parents were Cypriot, I would class myself as born here, but I would class myself as Cypriot, Greek Cypriot. I wouldn't... Yeah, I would say I'm Greek Cypriot because both my parents' heritage is from there. So it's difficult.
Yeah, it is. I mean, because I was adopted, I was born in Tottenham, but both my parents from Ireland, which makes me automatically an Irish citizen because I was born to Irish parents. You know how the rule works, Dave. So that's true. So, and then when I was adopted, my mother was from Northern Ireland because my father was from Mayo. So I could have ended up playing for Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, because my nana on my mum's side was from Wales. My uncle was born in Scotland. So I could have played for the whole bloody damn lot. But I still would have picked Ireland over England. So I think if you play one game for that country, being a friendly or being an international qualifier, I think you should not be able to move to another national team. I think it's wrong. I think it sticks two fingers up to the country that have helped you through all the development, that put money into you through the system, through the different under 21s, under 18s, and they've helped you along the way. And you're sticking two fingers up to that. Yeah, go on, Mia.
But really, when you think about it, it's not really because they go to a team, and depending on what team you go to, you might go to an Irish team to start with, maybe, and then if you go to another team when you're still young enough, then they're the ones who brought you through the development system, not necessarily Ireland as that, the Ireland team.
No, I get that, but you are giving them the international stage to showcase their ability, which heightens their
profile. No, I do get that, Dave.
The likes of Declan Rice, for instance, he came into the Ireland camp, fine. But he chose England because they can obviously offer him a lot more money because these players get paid. They ain't doing it for free. They all get, a share out the advertisement money and all that sort of stuff. They get paid to play for their country. And obviously, you got a lot of players out there now. They care about their money, and a lot of them do choose, to go where the money is. My question is, if you wanted to represent England, why didn't you turn Ireland down when they came calling? Jack Grealish, we gave him, he didn't play for England underage. He played for Ireland underage all the way through.
Yeah.
And then goes to represent England. What shouldn't be, if a player's, for me, I know myself, if two countries came calling, I'd know exactly what one I want to go and play for, and I'd turn down the other one regardless. So, there's a lot of players using international football to gain a better profile and all that sort of stuff, which I don't agree with. And that's why you look at a lot of the international footballer. There's no heart in it anymore.
No,
there isn't. People are just rolling through the motions. That's all it is.
And it's sad because playing for your country, mate. If you got picked to play for England or Greece, you'd be proud.
Greece? I'm not from Greece.
Oh, you know what I mean. If you got picked to play for the England ladies team, you'd be proud as punch, wouldn't you? I know if me and Dave got picked to play for Ireland, we'd be sitting there, chests out. And do you feel it's a bit like club before country now, where it used to be country over club? Before we move on, would you agree with that, guys?
It should really be. I think it should be club over country, though. To be honest, I do think that. I do think that for all of us, we all know that when our players go out, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, don't get injured," because you're worried about them. You'd want them not. If they were getting pulled and they weren't really injured, you'll be cheering because we don't want our players to go and get injured, right? So I kind of do get. It is club over country, really. I would much prefer for Tottenham to win something than I would England, 100%.
Yeah. It's the club that give them the majority of their money, at the end of the day.
Yeah,
look, for me, I don't think players should earn anything for international football. I get that, the representative, the FAI or the FA, they use these players in advertising campaigns and all that. I get that. But it should be patriotic to represent your country. You should want to go and do that. You should want to do it for free. Yeah, okay, if they ask you to do media stuff, try and understand that that's to generate money. And instead of you taking it and putting it in your pocket when you get paid enough by club football, why don't you allow that to be filtered out into academy systems so that when kids do go, down to their local team and stuff like that, that there's good facilities and you're giving every kid a real opportunity to be able to go and showcase his talents and stuff like that. Take money out of players being paid on international football, and then you'll know who wants to be there and who doesn't.
You know yourself, Dave, over here. I mean, it's not like that. England football is the national sport of England. You know full well over here, GAA and rugby comes before soccer over here. You know that for a fact that's going to happen, and you know full well that the FAI are broke. The government are not. They're bailing them out, and it's a joke. And it's another conversation where we can have another time. When Philip's with us as well, because you could go round and round in circles. But look, and also I want to say big unlucky to Wales as well, who lost to Poland on penalty. I have to say, did you see Ben Davies after the game, given the rallying call to the Welsh players afterwards?
What when he lost?
Yeah. What did you think of
That's
that?
Great.
A lot of people are saying how proud they were of Ben Davies doing that. I would love to know your reaction to that, Dave.
Loser's mentality, to be honest. What's the point of doing it when you've lost the game?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know he can't go and win the game on his own, but it's too late. I'm sorry. There's too many of these pretenders in football, all giving it that to the crowd after the game and all that sort of stuff. Do better in the game.
I thought he played quite well, actually, that game, what I saw of it. I didn't think he did too badly, actually. I thought Wales
but great players, Dermo, drive their teams forward. How many times do we see Robbie Keane do that for Tottenham? Damien Duff or Roy Keane and stuff like that?
I know, that's true. That's true. Look at Germany, 2002, last minute. Robbie Keane with that equaliser. Great days. We can only look back in them days and just cry why Mia's going to a international tournament in the summer. Damn. I want Jack. Can we dig up Jack Charlton and sort of take his DNA and just, make another Jack Charlton day? Do you think we could do that?
That's the football John O'Shea tried to play over the international break. Look at every time the ball went to Brady or Coleman, hook it in behind the fence, put him under pressure.
I've been telling you that for the last 3 years. Everyone.
Well, that's what he's done. That's what he done, but it doesn't work in
Exactly.
modern day football.
I'm telling you, it does. You just modernise it. Put them under pressure. Jack was right. Put them under pressure. Right. Go through some of the chats and then we'll get back to it. Peter M says, apart from the Euro playoffs, which for me, in Wales and Poland, it was a bit dull, as most of the games are friendlies. Big up to Ellie, says, my family, we are lucky for Spurs. Yeah, we all love Spurs. Tequila's in the house, 316.
Big up Tequila.
Hello, lovely Mia. Hello. Okay, Derma. And hello, Mr. David, sir. So you get a nice hello. David gets called a sir, and I just get okay, Derma.
I'll take it. I've been called worse.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
You've been called worse, Dermot, so, just accept it and that's it, move on.
Okay, Mary, down the bottom there, with a fag. Do you believe this? Mary down the bottom's got a fag at once on, the bottle of gin at the other, by the way. Peter M says, I didn't bother watching the England games, watch the Euro playoff finals instead. Big up to Peter as well. He says, big up to Tequila. He's saying hello to everyone. Good evening, Benny. This is an Arsenal fan, Dave, but I'll tell you one thing. He's one of the nicest Arsenal fans you ever meet. He really is a lovely lad. Good love. Good laugh.
Is there such a thing as nice Arsenal fans?
Oh, he is, Mia. Him and Bobby are probably the two nicest. They don't take it seriously. They respect you for being a Spurs fan, but they're very knowledgeable on football. So big up to Brenny. Hope you're doing well, he says. Hope you do. Big up. Where we go? We've got Tequila saying nothing beats the granny rule, Dave. Just ask Rooney. Yeah, that's true. That's why you see Wayne Rooney down at the bingo hall.
He's another one that could have played for Ireland. We kept his, what was it, his half brother or something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Do you know why he likes grannies? Because he can catch them easier.
Yeah, that's why he goes down to the bingo hall. Even now, he goes down to the bingo hall.
He works at the old people's home. He goes and visits them.
He does.
To go pick up some ladies.
Yeah. I knew bringing you on here would be trouble. Dad was born in 1921. We won the FA Cup. My brother Lewis was born in 51. We won the league. My brother Boo was born in 61. We did the double. I was born in 62. We won the FA Cup. 81. My nephew Elias was born. Elias.
Elias. I think Elias
was born 1991. Yeah. My Sophie was born. There you go, Ellie. You're quite lucky. Big up.
Yeah, Joe, what though? I've got the same. I was born in 82 and we won, and then Jakey was born in 2008 and we won.
Yeah, the year I was born, we got relegated. I keep that very quiet. Actually, the day I was born, I think we lost 2-1 away to Leeds. Tequila says, got a cast at 10 p.m, so only dropping in for 20 minutes. Hope everyone is well. Big up Tequila. She's just saying hello to everyone's just saying hello to everyone there. Tequila says, Ben Davis is Welsh Mafia, as you know. And he also says, think Roy Keane all the way, Erwin. Need the heart and the fire. We do, because Erwin says, Dermot and Dave, who do you think will be the next Ireland manager? I think I've missed it. We know who will be the next Ireland manager. I think it'll be John O'Shea, but I would love Roy Keane in the job. But I think John O'Shea, for me, will get it, Dave.
I wouldn't even be convinced John O'Shea would take it. Why would they hire him as an intern for 2 games? Why wouldn't they have just announced it, back then? Then they could have had a chance to sell more season tickets and stuff. Look, I said all along, it comes down to what money's available, and we're broke. We don't have the money for Sam Allardyce, don't have the money for Roy Keane, don't have the money for Chris Coleman, who done a great job at Wales. He got them to a semi-finals of the Euros and stuff like that. Literally, it's someone looking for a payday, to be honest with you. Someone that hasn't managed in quite some time, I reckon. Or a novice, which Stephen Kenny didn't go too well, did it? So,
don't do that. On that bombshell, Stephen Kenny still can't get a job, quite surprisingly. I wonder why. Because you're crap at football.
Back into a League of Ireland club.
Yeah, he's a fucking He's a numpty. Anyway, Ellie says it's shameful. Declan Rice proper ditched Ireland for England. Disgrace, she says, is a proper disgrace. I agree with you, Ellie. It is a disgrace. So does Dave. Mia doesn't. Mia thinks, no, he's with us. Boo-hoo. As she says, cry me a river.
Yeah, cry more, innit? Cry more.
Yeah. Look, Euro 2028. Are you coming to Dublin? Because you won't qualify. Mind you, we probably won't qualify either, knowing our luck. My brother Lewis is Juella's Laz dad. All right.
Yeah, no, Jula, that's her
Yeah.
niece. That's Louis, is her dad.
All right. Didn't know that. Big up, Ellie.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
know
remember saying before about Louis.
Tequila says, true, it's burnt bridges, Erwin. And then Erwin says, Dermot and Dave, as a fellow Waterford man, I would like John O'Shea, but I don't think so.
Do you know what? Waterford's a lovely place. I spent 6 months down there in the college when I was doing my apprenticeship. My first term was down there in Waterford. Absolutely lovely place. And I actually went down to a few Waterford games, Erwin. You know, I used to be bored, and if they were playing sort of midweek, I'd go down there. I remember watching them against Limerick in the Cup. Not a bad following there from Waterford. They all come off that estate right beside it. I can't remember the name of it now, but yeah, a lot of them all come off the estate, and they've got a drum and all going. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah. Big up, Erwin.
Big up, Erwin.
Did you see the little Wexford fella making his debut on Saturday? I was absolutely over the moon when he came on. I was jumping all over the place. You know, there we go, the mighty Wexford.
Who?
I forget his name now. Is that rarely so? All I know is from Wexford.
You're that far behind him. You can't even remember who he is.
Dave, I can't remember what I had for fucking breakfast. So
that guy that SPURS interested in, Thfc Abicelli, he's from your neck of the woods. And
that's who I'm on about.
He didn't make his debut. He made his debut a few games ago.
Yeah, but he came on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. But that wasn't his debut. He was 2 casts before.
I know that. dave, I can't remember what I did 10 minutes ago. I'm completely gone gaga in the head. That's when you get to 47, 48, you start losing your marbles a bit. Listen, guys, I want to go on a little bit. Look, not much on FFP. I know it bores the pants of Dave. Dave be walking off. I've had enough of this. And I'd love to know more, but it's a massive elephant in the room, isn't it, guys? If you think of it, right, you see Nottingham Forest get deducted 4 points, and the biggest elephant in the room is Chelsea and Man City. So, are the Premier League scared at the top 6, Dave? Are they scared that if they upset one of them, it's going to damage the brand of the Premier League?
Look, they're the biggest draw, aren't they, in terms of revenue and stuff like that. But look, I think one point that people really miss, and it's I don't know if anyone listens to him. His name is I think it's Chris McGuire. It's something McGuire anyway. He does a podcast. He talks about all the finances and stuff like that. And he spoke about it a while ago. He says everyone's going on about Man City, but the reason why it's taken so long for Man City is because when everything got done, they admitted to it. They made it easy for the FA to prosecute them because they admitted to it. They worked with the FA. They gave everything up front, you know. Same with Nottingham Forest as well. But when it comes to Man City, they're fighting it. But they're also fighting it with the best lawyers in the world. When you look at the paperwork and the amount of pages involved, he went through it. You know, he was for Everton. Well, Man City have how many charges, which multiplies that completely. And that's why it's taken so long to go after someone like Man City than what they did Everton and Fulham. Because Everton and Fulham worked with the people. Man City are refusing to. And that's one thing that everyone, that doesn't realise when they moan about it. Why does it take City so long? That's it. And, that the guy's a finance expert. He's an expert on finance and football.
I mean, Mia, look, I get cheesed off with it, right? And rightly so that Davey's right. There is a lot of charges, but surely they should have sorted it out by now. And if they do sort it out, what do you want to see the Premier League do? Like to them and Chelsea. I mean, people seem to forget Abramovich did a lot of illegal shit when he was in charge of Chelsea. Got booted out of the UK, rightly so as well, because he's linked to who's a man's committing war crimes, and he's left Chelsea in the brink of collapsing, where they need European football just to survive for next season. So, what do you think is going to happen? Where do you see, if you had a golden ball, Mia, where do you think this is going to end up at the end of the day?
I just couldn't tell you, but Dave's spot on though. What you're saying, like, I get it, right? And you're like, but what about this with Man City? But because they're fighting it, they're saying, we're not going to give you information. We're not going to make things easy for you. We're going to prolong it because we think if we prolong it, we're going to get stuff dropped because you can't be asked with it. That's what they're trying to basically do. With Chelsea, it is a bit more complicated in a way because they sort of admitted to it. And, of course, there is like a complication of finding out exactly what happened with Chelsea because it's under Abramovich, and I think they're changing the rules. I don't know if the rule applies now to them. I think there's a rule change to do with how many years they're going to be able to do it over. So, and because they're a new ownership, so God knows what's going to happen with them. So I think because them cases are a bit more complex, that's why it's taken so long. And listen, what will be will be. The outcome should be what's the truth. If it's the truth that they've cheated, they should be punished. That's what should happen. You know what I mean? If they get found guilty.
Yeah, you're spot on, because the thing is, you can't prosecute someone that hasn't admitted to anything. The other club's admitted to it, so you can prosecute them a lot quicker, right?
Yeah, that's how. But when you look at, even like, if we're going to talk, like, law is obviously very different to what's going on now. But in the law, if you get arrested for something and you admit it, you don't go to trial. You literally, they give you a sentence. They do a sentencing hearing. But if you don't admit it and you say, I'm not guilty, you have to go to trial and evidence has to be given. And this is exactly what City are doing. Because they've not admitted it, they have to go and put all the evidence to prove it.
But it's the same thing. The Premier League are looking into them. What UEFA charged them with, and UEFA already proved that they broke the law.
But they proved some of it, but some of it was dismissed because of time frame. But some of it wasn't. There was parts of it that were dismissed. Anyway, the rules are different for UEFA than for us as well.
Yeah, well, they're bringing it into line with UEFA. I think from next season, there's a documentary out there called "The Football's Biggest Scandal." It's on YouTube. I would recommend anyone to watch that. It's all about the farce of the UEFA and Man City thing and how CAS was ritually, I think Man City bought their way out of that. Personally, that's my own opinion. Look, for me, I think Man City should have the book thrown at them. They've broken the law. They've broken rules. They should be deducted down at least to the Championship. And I know what I've been hearing as well, that there's a lot of problems between the EFL, because the EFL don't want Man City. So where can they end up? It's a mess. It's an elephant in the room. And even with the Chelsea thing, I mean, I'm just going back through my phone here, what was given to me a while ago. I mean, Chelsea, are yet to be charged, but they spent over $1 billion. Top Bunny spent $1 billion, guys, on players.
Yeah, we know, but what happened there was he drew the contracts out over 8 years, so that's how they were able to, they basically they use it's changed now, so you won't see that happen again. But what they done was legit because the rules allowed them to do it.
But do you feel, right, as a football fan, there's a lot of Chelsea fans now up in arms at how Chelsea's being run, and you look at Tottenham, how Daniel Levy's run us, and yet there's a lot of frustrations there, of course, especially with the ticket prices, which we're going to get onto in a minute. But if you look at it from the way Daniel Levy's run us and Todd Bowley's running Chelsea, or even the Glazers running Man United, do you think a lot of fans are looking at Tottenham guys and thinking, that's how you run a football club? Do you know? I know it's not. Look, I don't want to get down to the root of what he could have done, but if you're looking at it from keeping the club afloat, do you know, not leaving it in major of debt, if you know what I mean, like Man United, like Chelsea. If you're looking at how you run a football club, how you regenerate the money, is Tottenham the model going forward, do you think, how they're doing it now?
Look, I think from a Premier League perspective and stuff like that, it's the ideal model. They'd like every club to do that. It solves a lot of headaches and stuff like that. But, you know, to say that other fan bases, you know, have gone and had great days out at Wembley and in Europe and stuff like that, say that they change it. Of course they don't. At the end of the day, they don't care about the finances. They couldn't care if Chelsea get done further down the line. They've still had them days out. They've still gone and won it. It doesn't matter. Yeah. At the end of the day, the way they see it is that their chairman, you know, has took a risk, tried to find a way around the rules to go and win something. You know, a lot of their chairmans are risky. Ours is risk averse. It's that simple.
Yeah, I mean, Mia, look, I know where Dave's coming from, and it's true. But, like, the Chelsea Supporters Trust wrote a letter to the board saying, we're going to protest because we don't agree what you're doing. Do you know, we don't agree you putting us into debt. I know we got the Levy out protest. You know, you got the Glazer out at Manchester United. There was some protests at Liverpool as well over their owners. Do you feel fans, is Dave right in saying that? Like, fans should enjoy themselves? Should Chelsea fans take their head out of their ass and just think, We've been quite successful. We've had great days out, and we should be happy with that. Or do you think they have a right to complain? How that club's being run?
It's kind of difficult because what Dave says is kind of true. Like, they're not going to complain while they've been winning, right? Even if they've done naughty stuff to get there, if they manage to get away with it, they're not going to give a damn, are they? They don't care. They're like, whatever. But
fans don't care about the books. They just don't.
They don't.
No, but if you're going to be reasonable, sensible, which I try to be occasionally, I do sit from the side of. Do you want me to get really rude with you? Don't fucking start on me, right? It's late at night and I'm tired, so don't pick on me.
Oh yeah, don't pick on Scrappy, do.
Yeah. Do you want some fire thrown your way? I'm happy we'll do that. Yeah, like for me, I think that when you look, if someone, I keep saying this and people don't believe me, but if someone like Daniel Levy had as much finance as what Man United have, because don't forget, financially they bring in a hell of a lot of money and the Glazers take out a hell of a lot of money. But if Daniel Levy had hold of that, can you imagine how well Man United would be run? They would be run impeccably. But would they have won stuff? We can't obviously say. But like the fact is that way he does run it is obviously a more sensible way of running a club, is in making sure that we are financially stable, we're not going to go out of business and stuff like that. That you've got to give him maybe not credit for, but obviously say that is the case. Because I know people don't like obviously giving any sort of credit to Daniel Levy, but for me that's important. But nowadays it don't matter, does it? It don't matter because look at all the other clubs that are doing dodgy stuff.
Like,
go on, Dave, sorry.
Yeah, the thing is, look, fans don't care about the books. At the end of the day, the fans ain't gonna, they ain't gonna complain about it, after, because realistically, the next billionaire's gonna come in, pick up their club and that again anyway, and stuff like that. It's already happened. Abramovich is gone, Todd Bowley comes in, right? So they're never really gonna feel the repercussions. But you think a fan's gonna sit in a pub, when he's 60 odd years of age and go, geez, I remember beating Tottenham, in a cup final against Pochettino there. You think they're going to sit there and go, well, I don't celebrate it because, it wasn't financially just. Of course they don't. The fans don't care at the end of the day,
but
and that's the truth of it. Fans do not care. It's only fans like us who care because they're a rival club and we want their success. So we pretend we care about it. But being honest, if it was happening at Tottenham, very few fans would actually care about it. They wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, look, it made me laugh when they were writing a letter to their owner. We're going to start protesting. What they're going to do? Do Moonies at Todd Bowley? I don't think he gives a shit what the Chelsea fan thinks. All he cares about is how much money he can make out of it. He spent over $1 billion. They're in trouble. Chelsea go bust. Happy days. Save the bridge. I mean, that become all we can all remember. Save the bridge back in the day. So one more question on this, guys, and then we'll move on to last topic. Dave, should the Premier League start the 24-25 season on a clean slate? Deal with everything now. So start next season. Like Leicester's going to come up with points.
This is the thing I'm trying to get across. They can't start on a clean slate. It's not in their control. At the end of the day, if other clubs are fighting what the Premier League has presented them, the Premier League have to go away and put a case together. That case doesn't take two weeks to do. It doesn't take 2 months to do. It takes a long time to do. And the reason why it's going to take them so long to do is because they have to. It's up to them to present their evidence, and put it forward. And they have to make sure, they have to think about City's counter, how they can put them into corners and stuff like that. It's out of their hands to have it by the end of next season. They can't just go, City, you're guilty, that's it. Because City will just go and sue them because they haven't had a right to defend themselves. You can't do that. And this is the point I'm making. In an ideal world, yes, but it can't happen.
I mean, Leicester's going to come up next season probably a minus points because they've got done now for they've got done for. So the rules are changing. Mia, I mean, I agree with everything Dave says. Dave's spot on what he says. I know he's saying is right, but I want an end to it, Mia. I want this to end. This is damaging the brand of the Premier League. It's damaging our sport. It's gone down the same route Serie A went down in the 90s.
But Dermo, where does it stop? If you start going guilty to everybody, that's not a good society to live in. You can't do that.
No,
but you look at Serie A. They had the balls to relegate Juventus when they got done for corruption and max.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. If they're guilty, then they should, of course, be punished. But we can't say definitively right now that a club like Chelsea or Man City are actually guilty. That's your problem, because you're going by the assumption that they're going to get found guilty, or
Man
that they
City, Chelsea, I think dogged themselves in by saying, "Hang on, we've got a problem here."
They did, but they might get. I don't know what. I can't think. I remember hearing something about how it might be not too bad for them. Let's just say, because it depends on what they get found out for. Blah blah. But honestly, I just think that you're living in like a world where stuff hasn't already happened. We have the Premier just going to have to make the rules and stick to them and deal with the ones that break the rules. That's all you can do. And if you break the rules, then you'll get found guilty. If you admit to breaking the rules, then you're guilty because you admitted to it. So that's all they can really do.
Look, I just want this dealt with because I just feel it's bad on the brand of the Premier League. I just feel it looks bad. It looks bad for the. I mean, you don't think it does?
I don't think it affects. I think the Premier League is such a big, popular league. I don't think stuff like this does. I really don't. I don't know about you, Dave. Do you? I don't really think it does, because I think people.
I mean, look, even if they put City under a transfer embargo, what's it going to do? They've got the best youngsters in the world coming through their academy. They've got the best players already in their squad. They just don't sell anybody and go with that. You know, at the end of the day, they've already won the 4 league titles. It's not going to really make a difference or have a massive implication. What it might do is slow down them, you know, and that gap between them and maybe other teams, and allow teams to catch up and stuff a little bit. But it's not really going to change the landscape of the Premier League whatsoever. I completely agree with Mia.
Yeah.
And also what Peter M's saying, there's a difference between criminal corruption and what Juve did and FFP rule breaks. Like criminal corruption is completely different what that happened.
Yeah, but they got done for match fixing, so that's still...
Yeah, but that's criminal corruption. That's not FFP rule breaks. It is very different, like to what's happening in the Prem.
I know. I just want an end to it because I feel this is just dragged on. I'm just getting annoyed. I just want it dealt with.
I think everyone does, Darmo, but unfortunately we live in a world where, you know, you have a right to defend yourself, and rightly so. You know, you can't just go around and deem people guilty and stuff like that. You have to give them
it's innocent until proven guilty is the way it is.
I know it is innocent until proven guilty, but it's the same charges that the Premier League are charged them with, which UEFA charged them with, which Man City got out of it. And I would urge everyone to watch that documentary on YouTube because it's very insightful in what it's about and how it was. And I just wanted to be out there and done that everyone knows what they're being charged, what everyone knows what is being done about it. It's all cloak and dagger. And where everyone can just gesture, everyone can put their own thoughts on it.
But people do know what's going on. If you listen to the people that are telling you what's going on, like the guy Charlie Maguire, the finance expert, he's telling people what's going on. He's telling people why it's taking so long. The problem is people choose not to listen to it and then just go, I want it dealt with and stuff like that. At the end of the day, people in the know are telling people what's going on. It's up to others whether they want to ignore it or not.
Yeah, well, I will listen to him, Dave. I didn't know he was around, so I will listen to him. I will give that a listen. Just very quickly, if there's two things you can finish now for the start of next season, what would they be, Dave? You had full run of the rules for the 24-25 season. What rule changes would you make? 2. You're allowed to make 2 rule changes.
No VAR. I'd scrap that altogether, to be brutally honest. I'd rather... I'm not going to get into a debate with people over VAR. No. People know my thoughts on it. I just want to get back to a day and age where it's just a man in the middle and stuff like that. So get rid of VAR would be definitely one. I think they've adjusted the handball rules, so sort of all right with that. Probably just get rid of VAR, Dermo. I'll be honest, I'm tired. I can't think of any rules.
I fully agree with you. Get rid of VAR, please. Mia, where will you be on that very quickly?
Get rid of VAR because I think that it's if there was no choice to keep VAR, change. There's like ways of changing it to make it so much better, like a 90-second rule. That means it's not clear and obvious. If it's not clear and obvious in 90 seconds to them, then sorry, not happening. Also to have the automated offside, because I think that would be a lot quicker and make things a lot more smoothly, go a bit more smoothly, and any team in red gets relegated.
Actually, me has given me an idea as well. You know, I want them to get a stop clock like they have in rugby, so you're actually getting 45 minutes of football each half. I know at the start of the season they tried, and they were adding on 13 and 15 minutes and stuff like that, but they've sort of dwindled that right down again, you know. But for me, you don't want to add 15 and all minutes on at halftime. Just get a stop clock as soon as ball's out of play, you know, hit it.
Yeah, I can remember Stamford Bridge like that as well, Peter, with a big dog track around it. It was a horrible place. It's still a horrible place to go to.
Still a horrible place.
Yeah. Big up to Destiny 5. He says, big up, everyone. Big up, Destiny. Haven't seen you before, so welcome to the channel. Please hit the like button. Please hit the notification bell.
I'm not going to assume the gender. I think it's a guy, but they're in a lot of different other chats, and absolute top person is Destiny.
Yeah, big up and very welcome. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. We've got Owen says, yes, get rid of VAR, please. And Peter says, I get rid of VAR, but introduce the semi-order. Yeah, the offside one as well, I agree with you. They use it in Champions League and international football.
It's so much better. It doesn't leave any room for interpretation, because see, when they draw the lines and stuff, for me, occasionally I'm like, that line looks a bit dodged. Like, are they actually, because they have to draw the lines. But if it's automated, it's either they're onside or they're offside, because the technology will detect if they are. Yeah. And I think that is the best way to do it.
I've got a theory why them lines are wonky. It's because they're drinking while they're doing the game. That's what I'm thinking they're doing. They're having the odd bit of scotch or brandy. That's why they're a bit wonky.
Yeah, I think, anyway, but like I say, I think that's ridiculous, and I think that they need to sort that out, because I think the offside rule is now, the offside thing is just ridiculous, how long it takes, etc. So it needs to be done. If you're offside or you're not. Yeah.
Last topic here, guys. Top Spurs fans at the protest during the Luton game. Now, apparently Tottenham fans are going to turn their back on the 65th minute due to the rises in ticket prices for next season. And then we're going to very quickly, Spurs are playing Luton and the win needed for top four. Dave, where do you stand on this? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? Look, we all disagree. We all agree there should never be a rise on the ticket prices in the first place, and we would all agree.
I don't disagree. I disagree with that. I think that ticket rise prices are not. I don't agree with that. So don't say we all disagree with that. I disagree with the elderly people one.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We'll all agree that the concessions for the elderly should be given back to them. I look, it is what it is. From my point of view, we didn't get ticket rise last year, so I think it is what it is. It's inflation. Everyone's got to meet costs. There's going to be a rise somewhere along the line. But I don't think 6%. I think is a bit steep. Dave, I know Mia disagree, so I'll go to one that don't, and then let you. Actually, no, Mia, I'll let you have your say. Why do you disagree? And then
I'm not saying that I think that price right, like everything's pricing basically. 6%. If you factor it out of the time when it hasn't been, risen, it's like 1.8%. Per year, so that's actually not a lot. It is all in one go, which is like a really cheeky way of doing it. I agree, but I just think that it isn't as much when you look at it actually when we haven't had a price rise. So I do think that people are going a little bit too far with it. So when people say real fans are getting priced out of the game, I think that's untrue. I think just because the next person can afford it on the list for season tickets, that doesn't mean they're a lesser fan. So if I can't afford it but Dave can, does that make me Dave a lesser fan than me because he can afford it? So that's where I get a problem with people saying that people who can afford it are lesser fans, because I don't believe that. I think there's plenty of people on that season ticket list that are true fans, and if they can afford to go, then I think that they can go. It doesn't mean that they're a lesser fan or they're not a true fan. I don't like that. I don't like that talk. I don't think that's correct, and I don't think it's nice for people, because at one point when you got your ticket, if you had your ticket 10 years, the person before you, they might not have been able to afford it, and that's why they gave theirs up for you. So what's the difference?
Yeah. Where you're on this, Dave, I mean, a lot of people complained about it, but they're still going to buy the season tickets anyway. So where do you stand on that? I can understand clubs have to make money. and we're still going to buy them. But do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Do you think it was going to happen anyway?
Look, if we were predominantly a club that relied on just the revenue that the stadium brings in, I can understand it, right? But also, if I'm a businessman, I fully understand it. At the end of the day, you ain't going to take the cost of inflation, are you? You're going to put it onto your customers, and it's business 101. I fully understand that. Where I have a problem with, and this is just because this is sort of where I lean in life, you know, the more they up the ticket prices, the more you're marginalizing the people on the breadline, right, who are already struggling and stuff like that. And I know people say, look, you've got priorities, of course, pick your house over Tottenham and stuff. I get it, but some people, it ain't that easy, you know. Some people, they're lonely, and all they've got is someone like Tottenham Hotspur and stuff like that. So for me, I would like to maybe see a concession made for people like that, maybe, and stuff like that. You know, but we don't live in a fair world. As much as I want to live in a fair world, we just don't, right? You know, money is the root of all evil, as the saying, it makes the world go around. So, you know, at the end of the day, from a business point of view, I understand it. But I think from an owner's point of view, if I was Daniel Levy, with the hate that I get, you know, the stick that I get, the accusations that are made at me and stuff like that, it's an absolute PR on goal. You know, when you've got other diverse revenue streams coming in, like he does for the abseiling, Skywalk, you know, the go-karting that's coming in there, Spurs Play, you know, all that sort of other stuff. He could have used one of them to subsidize it, you know, especially off the back of him coming out earlier on in the season to fan meetings and stuff like that. And you know, I would say some of the, you know, a lot of the fan base were maybe starting to maybe warm back to him a little bit, or maybe, you know, give him a second chance and stuff like that. And I think it's an absolute PR own goal in that sort of respect to him. I completely disagree with the senior concessions being taken away. For me, I grew up and I was always reared, respect your elders. Even if you don't like what they have to say, you respect them, right? They're the people that have paved the way for the world that you live in, the future that you know, and everything else. So for me, you know, I think there should be a concession for senior citizens, because I was reared. You always respect your elders.
Yeah, exactly. I was brought up the same. Sorry, Mia. Just want to get to the point before I bring you in. Look, I was brought up the same, Dave, to respect your elders. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. Where, go on, Mia. I'll let you go ahead because I was going to make a point. It's gone. So sorry. I'll let you go ahead. Sorry.
What I'll quickly say is that the one thing I actually agree with is with Sean, who said this. Big up the donor. Is that basically if you're a senior and that you come in and get your ticket now and then you get concessions, I don't think that is a very fair way of doing it. Maybe what Dave actually said is probably a good idea. Maybe do a means tested discount for everybody. So whether you're older or younger, to be able to get a discount if you are struggling. I think that's probably the fairest way to do it, is a means tested one. So then it's not age discriminatory. That way everybody who struggles gets that discount. And I don't think that's actually a bad way to do it.
Is, I'm not asking, I completely agree with you, Mia. I'm not asking, you know, for people, you know, because then people with more money will say, oh, but you're marginalizing us. I'm not asking for that. But what's the cost of 5,000 tickets at a concession to people that are maybe on the breadline, right, over the course of a year? It's absolute minuscule. Absolute minuscule. You know, you're not asking for a large chunk. You're asking for 5,000 maybe, if even.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think that's actually a very good point, Dave. And like, I think that a lot of people are making a big song and dance about it, yet they're paying higher prices and they're going to go and pay back higher prices for their ticket. When, like you say, there are people who might struggle, who, the thing is, you could put it up by £50 and someone might not be able to afford it. Unfortunately, that is life, because in life, sometimes I buy shopping nowadays, the money that I have to pay for shopping, which is much less. So I have to make much less, go further, because I can't afford to pay more for my shopping. So it is difficult.
I mean, I went and got my shopping today, and I was looking at it and thinking, we paid how much for, and do you know, to me, it didn't seem the amount there added up to how much we paid for it. And I understand you took me very valid points. Where I was standing in this is, look, from a fan that's coming from Ireland, like me and Dave come from Ireland, we've got to pay our plane tickets and we have to pay a bit extra going over. To be called a plastic fan because we're coming over from Ireland, it's a bit harsh by some of the fan base. Dave, where are you on tourists and going to football? A lot of people saying that there's more tourists now than the normal fan. I agree with Ange when he says, well, he totally rebooted that in his press conference when he was asked the question. So where are you on that?
Well, look, first of all, that accusation doesn't stack up because I believe 42,000 tickets in that stadium week in, week out are season ticket holders and other sort of people that are members of other clubs and stuff in the club. So, you know, they're not all tourists, right? So that means there's another 20, maybe just a little bit more than that. Now, some go on the exchange and you've got other people, you know, from in and around London and people, stuff like that get that. So you would say, unless, again, you know, where you're getting your tourists, this Spurs supporters club around the world who pay a fee, you know, into that club, which the club pays a fee, you know, for that affiliate and stuff like that, you know, and stuff like that. So that argument doesn't stack up when you actually look at the amount of season tickets sold and stuff like that. And that are there for the stadium. But look, in terms of being a plastic fan, I mean, look, I've never been called a plastic fan by anybody. I've been very well received when I've gone over there. You know, no one's really ever made a problem of me being from a different country being there, so I'm not going to go down that route because I've been very well received. But look, you know,
the point I was trying to...
Look, I just want to say I'm just as passionate as everyone that lives around Tottenham or people that could go to games, you know, just because where I geographically live, it doesn't mean that, you know, I don't wake up, think about Tottenham the same way, read about Tottenham the same way, you know, watch games with the same intensity, the same passion, feel the losses the same way, feel the wins the same way and stuff like that. You know, you've got people that live in America, right? You get a midweek game, right? You get an early game on a Saturday and people work weekends. Then guys are getting, or if it's a 12:30 kickoff, then guys are getting up at like 4:30 in the morning. For Jack, for instance, right? 4:30 in the morning. And then after that, some people ain't as lucky at that and they have to go and do a full day's work after that. You know what I mean? That's dedication as well, right?
Yeah. Well, can I just say, I wasn't saying that, by the way. Can I just put that out there? I was only saying what a question was asked to Andrew. Sorry, Mia, go on.
Yeah, Joe, what? I think what Ange said that in that press conference was absolutely spot on. I actually find it a little bit offensive that with certain types of fans get called day tripper fans or fans that are not real fans. Or listen, if they're coming into our stadium and cheering on the club, then they're fans, right? That's the way I see it. Whether you are from Australia, America, Korea, whatever you want to be from, like that's the way I see it. And I just get really it really frustrates me when I hear stuff like that, because I just think you just sound like it's just snobbery. It is a little bit of like football snobbery that they don't want certain people coming and supporting our club. That's what it kind of sounds like. It might not mean that, but that's kind of what it sounds like.
It angers me. It really pisses me off when I hear that, because we're as much Spurs fans here, and I respect them people in America or Australia or Malaysia who get up at silly o'clock.
But likewise, though, Dermo, we also respect the guys that can get down there and make our voices heard because of where we live and we can't do it, but they can, you know, likewise.
Exactly. I just feel it, and look, the point I was trying to make was there's always a lot of arguments saying about tourist fans, football's not what it used to be and I think it's a load of bullshit, because as you rightly said, Dave, 42,000 of that season ticket holders, then it's only the rest of the supporter clubs. And when Ange was asked that, I was so pleased with his response. It was like sticking two fingers up with it. I've got respect for anyone that gets up at 4:00 in the morning to watch Tottenham. We do it. You, me, and Mia would do it. We'll all do it because we're all part of one family. We're all part of one team, which is Team Tottenham. We're not just because where we are. I would love to go to more games. I know, Dave, you would love to go to more games. I'm sure Mia would love to go to more games. But it's about affording it, isn't it? And it's about making it economically right for fans to go. So look after your fans that need the help. Look after them, because they will help you later down the road. Would you say that, Dave? Look after, as you say, look after the ones that need help. And, you know, I think the club should do that. Or do you think just do what you said? Just means, as Mia said, means test it and do it that way. You think that's the way to go?
Well, I think if you want to sort of try and include everyone, right? I think, you know, because that could also, you know, people automatically think because some of the seniors have lived their life that they're all sitting there on big retirement funds and everything else. You know, it's not the case. You know, some of them go straight onto a government pension. You know, they're also on the breadline, right? You know, so it'd help a lot of people out, you know. And like I said, I'm not saying a large proportion. You know, you could work it out where, you know, you could, for instance, like say, right, we can give this much concessions, and people who buy Spurs play will cover that. You know, but we still have all the other large revenue coming in and stuff like that. That's all I would propose for. But like I said, you know, I completely disagree with the senior citizen concession.
Yeah, I do.
Completely.
Listen, can I just say again, I'm not calling anyone plastic. It's just the question that was put out there by other fans.
No, we know that.
And do you know what? And like Peter M says, I didn't go to Spain before because I'm disabled. And can I just say, big up the Spurs? I went there. I've got a few medical problems. And can I say, Tottenham were absolutely fantastic with me. Absolutely brilliant. Let me bring, because I had a bag for a bit of medication, and they let me bring my rucksack in with me and everything. So big up to Tottenham. Absolutely. I meant to say before, but they were brilliant with me. So top. And they do look after everyone. So big up to the lads on the gate. Because I'm disabled, as I don't like being in crowds. I know how that feels, Peter, believe me. But I have followed Spurs closely all my life. Am I plastic because I don't like crowds? No, you're not. You're a Spurs legend. You're the people that we bow down to and say, you're a legend. That's who you are. Dave?
But is the term plastic, did that come from the Spurs fan base, or did that come from the journalist who decided to ask the question?
I've heard it.
And that's his own thought on it. Because
you know what?
What I don't want to sit here and do is misconstrue it. You know, you don't want to sit here and say that's come from the Spurs fan base when it's the journalist that asked it.
Do you know what? I'm not sure if it did. It came from one. I've heard it in the base. I've heard some fans saying that. So I'm not really 100% sure, Dave, to be fair. I'm not 100% sure, and I'm not.
Because I think it did come from a question from the journalist, right?
Yeah, it did, yeah. But I don't know where it came from before that. That's the point I was making. It came from somewhere. I've seen it written around in other things somewhere like that. Ellie says you're well received, Dave, because you're a true Spurs fan with love and passion for the club. You know, I've been going over the same as Dave. I've been treated really lovely when I got over there. And I don't know about you, Dave. Do you get a bit shocked when somebody comes and asks you for a photo or something? Because it's like, somebody shouted to me last month, went, Dermatron. I'm thinking, who calls me Dermatron? Do you still get a little bit of, really?
Look, those who have met me in person know I'm actually shy in person, you know, to a degree and stuff like that. Look, it's humbling. You know, it definitely is humbling. For sure, it's definitely humbling.
Don't worry, Dave. I won't be asking you for a picture when I meet you.
But we speak to each other, you know, whether it's through streams or whatever, at least a couple of times a week. So, you know, I don't think you need a picture of me at this point.
Yeah, big up to her.
No, I'm not that starstruck.
Yeah,
I am. When I first met Dave in person, I was totally starstruck. It was like, my God, I'm meeting the mighty Dave. It was a really humbling experience. And he is a shy lad. He is. Dave is a very shy, humbled human being, and he's an absolute legend, and it's a pleasure to know you, man. You really are a humble human being.
He is a lovely guy.
He is.
Can't wait to meet him. I'm absolutely buzzing that I've got a ticket, so now I can go and actually meet Dave.
I'm devastated I had to give my ticket up. I am literally devastated. But next year.
I've also got Ellie going to feed me up. She's going to need to enroll me to bloody Tottenham at this rate. The amount of food she's going to be giving me.
Slovakia. Is that what's called? That's the Greek kebab, right?
Yeah, but she's not. She's going to do she's going to do meatballs and macaroni di forno, which is the pasta you do in the oven. So I was like, sounds good.
Could get down with that.
Owen says, I'm from Ireland myself since 1991. I follow Spurs. I went to London 4 times since I watch every single game TV. I'm buying with a shirt. I'm definitely a Spurs fan. Yeah, you are. Spurs play is rarely reasonably priced, says Ellie. Do you think of this, guys, quickly?
Look, go on, me.
Yeah, I guess. You do get, I suppose, all the games, the youngsters, didn't you, as well? So... yeah, I suppose if you use it to the maximum, yes, it is.
I think it's fairly priced. I mean, a lot of other clubs wouldn't have something like that. You get to watch all the under-18 games. The majority of the under-21 games as well. You get all your pre-season games there, which saves you having to go and check dodgy channels. There was a time in years gone by, unless you're involved in a tournament that Sky picked up in pre-season, your games weren't shown on telly.
No.
So you are getting a lot more access. You get to see stuff training. They are making documentaries for it. Look, I would like to see better documentaries. I'm sick of the ones of like losers being put up there like Dyer and stuff. Give me better documentaries and stuff like that. But I do think you get good bang for your buck on it.
You do.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on, Mia. So go on.
I was saying I might petition to get a Romero one. I'll say I will get Spurs play if you give me a documentary of following around Romero everywhere he goes, including the shower.
All access.
All access, 100%.
Oh God, Mia bringing it down to forgotten level.
Try and make the next documentary Tottenham All Access. Just get me in with the camera.
Yeah. Mia's just going to stay in the shower. Just wait for Romero to come in. You're guaranteed that's what it will be. Full episode. Mia.
Well, you might just need a bit of help in the shower. You never know.
Anyway, on that bombshell, we'll end the podcast, Dave. Mia, thank you for coming on.
Oh no, you've got to read out what Ellie said. She's generously inviting Dave as well, and she's doing Sublaggy as well. So Sublaggy, yeah, she's doing it.
Big up, Ellie. Big up, Ellie.
Look, I wouldn't say no.
She's gonna have everybody at her bloody house at this rate.
Oh, bless her. She says, she says, Dermot, if you get a ticket, you two are invited. Oh, thank you so much, Ellie. You're very kind. And DJ Samuel has sent in a super sticker, €3. Let's see what it is. Very quickly, let's see what it is. I can't see it.
It's his Crocs again. He loves wearing Crocs, don't you, DJ?
It's a peach. Is it a peach, Dave? Saying big up.
I don't know.
He's doing his workout.
Let's have a look.
Is it a peach or is it? It's a bird anyway. It's a green bird.
Jovial. We'll just call it jovial.
Yeah, that's it. That's what
we're in a good mood. Big up, DJ.
Big up, DJ. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate the support. Thank you so much. And I love Greek food too, says Peter. Big up. Oh, we've got Leslie Crawford coming in. God, they're all powering in at the end of the stream. If we could pay for season TV, if we could pay for TV season tickets to watch every game live as all games are sellout anyway, won't be affected. Look, we leave that to next week, Leslie. That'd be a good starting point about the 3 p.m. blackout and where we all stand on that. So that is the starting kickoff for the next podcast for next week. Big up, Leslie. Absolute legend, always coming in. I would say massive big up to DJ Samuel for the super sticker. Big up to Ellie as well for doing, she's promoting it as well. So big up, Ellie. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Ellie. Big up to Peter Rems, just popped in. Also, Destiny 5 come in. Erwin as well. Tequila. And of course, my two great panelists today. Mia is now part of the Unholy Trinity family now. She's been inducted. She's passed the tests. She's the Mary Magdalene of this little group. So, ladies first, Mia, where can people find you? And what have you got coming next on Spurs Between the Lines?
I have got a preview coming up that I'm going to be doing for the game. I also do instant match reaction with good old Jimbo, which I absolutely love doing because Jimbo is an absolute top guy. I love doing stuff with Jimbo. He's just lovely. Even if it's negative, he always tries to put a positive on it. Bless him. So yeah, and then I'm going to think about changing up what I'm doing, but I've not quite decided yet. So watch this space.
Ooh, very, very interesting. I'm going to look forward to that. And Mr. Harris, the legend that is the man himself, one half of the Hotspur duo with him and Mr. Jack Kanicki. What have you got coming up? I think you got the fan show tomorrow night, sir, have you? At 8?
Yeah. So I've got channel predictions coming out in the morning, fan show, and then there'll be a predicted lineup out as well, and then all the game day content then on the Saturday where I think you're on Dermo for the pre-match and that. So that's what we've got coming up. But make sure you do show me some love. Get over there, smash that subscribe button, and also on Dermot's channel here as well. Make sure you do not leave without smashing that like button. It's like you know, sort of walking into someone else's house without wiping your feet on the mat. So make sure you do smash that like button. But just a quick suggestion for Ellie, rather than having us all around your house wrecking Tio's head, why don't you just hire out a street food van and we'll just come down to Ellie's grotto and you know, we'll pay you for some of the Greek food out of there. It'd be absolutely unbelievable. But I am starving. I've got a lovely spice bag there, which I can't wait to tuck into.
Yeah. I've got my Derbil's done me a lovely what have you done?
Sweet chili chicken.
Sweet chili chicken I got for me after I finished this. I'm looking forward to that. Can I just say, Mrs. Tron is the best cook in Ireland. I have to say, she really is the best. When I met her, I was thin. Now, 7 years later, I'm a bit porky, so that's her fault. But she makes cracking food.
I'll be the judge of that. Tell her to make a Thai red curry, and I'll come round and judge it.
I tell you, Dave, I will. I'll say that to her. Yeah, we must have you and Emily round, actually. That's a good point. But thank you all for watching. This will be going up, of course, on our Spotify channel, THFC Till I Die, on Spotify as well, going up tomorrow. You can now find us on TikTok as well. We're putting a video up, my match day predictions on TikTok. Me and Philip are doing the 4 o'clock, the Daily Hotspot News. We're doing our predicted lineup. Also, our pre-game thoughts will be going out tomorrow for you members, and then after you members have seen it, the next day for your non-members. And also, we've got the watch-along on Saturday. We've got the Cockerel Clock podcast back on Sunday. A bit look back at Luton versus Spurs Luton, and also a little bit of look ahead with the Premier League as well. But whatever you're doing, please enjoy your evening. Thank you so much for watching. Hit the like button and subscription button on all channels, and also right. And also, I will be putting the links in for the guys' channel. Oh, Mia's gone. Mia's gone. Yeah, okay. On that bombshell. See you later. I will put the links in for the guys' channels if they send me over. But come on, you Spurs and Big Ange we trust. Where's it?